celebrates all facets of Japanese culture, but it's also a social event that brings together fans, artists, and entrepreneurs in one place for 3 fun-filled days at the Convention Center.
My name is Faisal Ahmed. I'm the CEO for Kawaii Kon. Kawaii Kon is the largest fan-run event in Hawaii. Kawaii Kon encompasses pretty much all things Japanese, including fashion, music, tabletop, video games, artists, vendors, voice acting, comics, and the list just goes on from there. Marlon Sajal is the original founder for Kawaii Kon. He started volunteering at an event with me actually in Atlanta. So I met him when I was 13 years old when I started volunteering. It's an event called Anime Week in Atlanta. We had a few friends who were here who were very passionate, who traveled to the mainland in order to see these conventions. And so what Marlon had decided is he wanted to bring an event to Hawaii. The very initial group of volunteers formed Kawaii Kon 1 12 years ago. So the very first Kawaii Kon had about 1,600 attendees. This year we're expecting 12,000. And we bring in local artists as well as artists from Japan and the mainland and vendors and companies. We have about 300 volunteers. Absolutely no one gets paid. No one makes a dollar from the person who helped set up the pipe and drape up to me. About 7 years ago, I was invited to start volunteering and helping here. And the torch sort of got passed on to me of, the crazy person who's willing to volunteer all his time to set up all the business and logistics and, willing to do it all for free, just for the passion, just to make sure the event happens. The principal philosophy, at least for why I volunteer, is it's for the fandom. It's to encourage the fandom community to grow in Hawaii especially, and allowing people to kind of experience the same thing I experienced, which is getting a sense of belonging and being able to meet other people who share your interests. I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, where I first started volunteering. I moved to California when I went to law school. And when I was in law school, I came to Kawaii Kon for the very first time, where I actually met my current fiance. So she lived in Eva, now she lives with me. And so I was coming back and forth from Hawaii very often, and I got, to become friends with most of the volunteers here. And I just kind of kept taking a larger and larger role, and eventually I ended up becoming the CEO. Essentially, everything's really decided by the fans. What we do is we put up posts on our Facebook where we ask for suggestions of who you want to meet, what bands you want to see, what vendors you want to see. And a lot of it gets decided by our directors, which is kind of like the top level kind of crazy volunteers who spend most of their year planning on this. Everyone, has their own jobs, they have their own lives. A lot of them now have children. And so, in the off hours, they're sitting there, they're figuring out exactly, what fandom to bring out. This year we expanded into K-pop for the first time, as well as we vastly expanded our tabletop and started working directly with a lot of the companies, bringing them out to Hawaii who had never been here. For this year's Kawaii Kon, I think some of the most exciting stuff is we have direct companies from Japan. We have Animate, which is one of the largest kind of anime specialty stores. Like when you go to Japan and you want to buy all the latest and greatest, like Animate's always the top of everyone's list of where to get stuff. We're one of the only times they come to the US. In addition, we have 5 concerts this year. The concerts are completely free to attend. As long as you're a member of Kawaii Kon, we don't charge anything extra. As well as we have 2 fashion designers straight from Harajuku, H. Naoto and Galaxy, which is kind of exciting because fashion shows, especially Japanese fashion shows, just don't happen on the island. So Kawaii Kon's really the only place right now where you can get, so many concerts, like 2 fashion shows, and the ability to buy stuff that you really can never find on the island. One of the main reasons that cosplayers come out, they dress up, is that's actually who they are. This is the opportunity where they can be themselves. So it's almost the opposite of what you would think. When they're walking around and they're doing, their day-to-day jobs, they're at school, that's not who they feel they actually are. But when they're here, that's how they view themselves. This is my personality. I get to actually be who I am. I get to express my interests without being judged by the rest of society. And it's just an opportunity for them to be themselves and to just, hang out with other people with similar interests. Kawaii Kon is all about the fandom and all about volunteering. The most important thing to me is that every single dollar that comes into the convention goes out to the fans. And this year's Kawaii Kon is just a representation of that. We have 2 of the X halls, we have events on all 3 floors, we have dodgeball, we have concerts, countless connections are made. I believe this year we have 3 people who are proposing to their significant others that they met at Kawaii Kon in previous years, and they felt like Kawaii Kon is the reason that they met their love interest. And that's really exciting because it's people they wouldn't have met. And as a volunteer, I got to help be a part of something and to make someone's life better. Kawaii Kon has a big local impact for the economy. We have about 1,500 room nights, about 7,000 are local to Oahu. We have 2,000 from the other islands. They're all flying in, they're all staying at hotels, they're all spending money in Waikiki, they're all spending money at the local companies. Our economic impact is around $2 million. In addition, this year we had about 700 people come from Japan to see specific voice actresses that we have, as well as we have almost another 1,500 to 2,000 people from the mainland, as well as we have people from Singapore this year, we have people from Europe, from Canada. And so it's just really exciting to see all these people and see, you know, just how much of a local impact they can do, as well as all the local vendors that are here. Some of them are pulling in almost $30,000, they say. The artists who are, you know, they all have their day jobs, they do art on the side as a fandom kind of activity. They're saying that they made almost enough money to pay 2 months of rent, which is just, it's great.
Don't go anywhere, we've got much more coming up from Kawaii Kon 2016.